Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
I almost started talking without my microphone. What a stupid idiot I would have been. What's up? It's the Lock Shop, brought to you by Play Alberta. All of Edmonton Sports Talk, brought to you by Play Alberta. Dustin Nielson with you if you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or EdmontonSportsTalk.com. We're going to dive into the NHL slate today, but we'll deeper dive on the Oilers' new line combination. Savoy getting a look with McDavid and Draisaitl, at least for the first 5 minutes tonight. We'll see how that goes. We'll dive into that on Two Guys and a Goalie for GS Construction at noon today. Myself, Cass, and Gager will be setting that one up for sure. Hashtag justice for the Lock Shop. Support the Lock Shop in its push to even get nominated for Show of the Year here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Hammer the thumbs up for us over there. We greatly appreciate it. Tell your friends about Canada's gambling show, as the rookie just said. Canada's gambling show, the Lock Shop. Well, it's not technically Canada's gambling show because it's just in Alberta. I don't know. It's Canada's gambling show. Let's be honest. Yes. I mean, come on. We have a DGen den. For goodness sakes. Come on. We're doing parlays left and right. We're going to set up the Thursday nighter, big NHL slate. And the more time we have between now and opening pitch of this Jays game, the more I start to think that maybe they could upset the Dodgers. So we'll get into that maybe a little bit as we work our way through the Lock Shop today as well. Edmonton Sports Talk and the Lock Shop brought to you by Play Alberta. If you've not yet signed up for a Play Alberta account, please do. Download the app. It's a little bit more convenient on the app now. New and improved Play Alberta app. Lots of usability improvements over on the sportsbook as well. Easier access to some, and they got a ton of promotions. Easier access to that. We've got some promotions for you. If you haven't used these codes yet, and many of you listening to the Lock Shop or watching the Lock Shop probably have already taken advantage of these, but maybe you're new listening on TuneIn or iHeart, falling out from that 95.7 Cruise FM bump. The codes are EST50 and EST Sports. You deposit $50. Use either of those codes, and you'll get a $50 free bet. If you want to dabble in the casino, EST Casino, deposit $50, get $50 to play within the casino. But please remember to use your GameSense you are playing. We do not want people to get in over their heads. You can go to GameSenseAB.ca for more details on some resources that can help you out and how to set a budget when you are gambling. All right, we're going to dive into the National Football League. I got a bunch. I will say, as of this moment, I have a lean on the Thursday nighter from a spread perspective, but I'm not locked in just yet. I'm interested to see where Huss comes out in this Vikings-Chargers game. I think he'll be on the Vikings. I think what we've learned about Huss over the last few years is it does favor the Vikings a little bit. Plus, his Kansas City Chiefs might be showing. And he'd probably be anti-Chargers tonight. So we'll see how that plays out. We're going to get to the Thursday nighter, but a big slate in the National Hockey League as well. And then one day closer to the World Series beginning. And we'll get into that as we work our way through as well. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. As I mentioned, Two Guys and a Goalie at noon today to continue to get you ready for the Oilers and the Montreal Canadiens tonight. The Habs last night finding a way to get it done in overtime against the Calgary Flames. Not a good night last for us in the National Hockey. It was only 3 games. You kind of backed into a bit of a corner, but it did not go well. And Jen says, I hope it's not like your flag take, Dusty. Yeah, my Cooper flag over 16.5 backfired hard last night. Dude only took 2 shots in the entire first half. Unbelievable. And he had an alley-oop from AD 30 seconds into the game and missed it. And it was at that moment I knew we might be screwed. But whatever. Wemby was incredible last night. I bet Wemby at halftime to be the league MVP. Got it about plus 410, I think. He looked great last night. I don't know if Huss watched any hoops last night, but let's bring him in from Winnipeg Sports Talk. Huss, we were saying there's been a big debate here around Edmonton Sports Talk the last little while about, is it okay to say the Blue Jays are Canada's team? But we started off the show this morning by saying the Lock Shop is Canada's betting show. There's no doubt about that.
I'm here for that. Just quick, you mentioned Wembanyama. Do you remember our quick conversation about the MVP yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday or 2 days ago or something like that, yeah.
I'm watching the first half, and I was sick to my stomach because I was a little butt up. I'm like, Wemby MVP at 11-1?
I know.
Like, this guy could be it. And I'm watching it. You know, it went from, whatever, in the States, at some places it was 12. I was seeing 11. And by about halftime, it had gone from 12 to 6.
Yeah, and I got it at 4. I waited till like third quarter. It was insane. Like the entire betting market was watching that game last night going, oh man, we are done at 11 and 12. Like this. Yeah.
And you know what? The one thing is, like, with the Rourke bet, the Jays, like, I think the key to a really successful run for me hasn't necessarily been like the weekly plays. It's been getting on great numbers for futures and having them come in. And I had the worst FOMO watching that. And by the way, the show that he put on last night.
Buddy, he looks bigger and stronger, doesn't he?
That move where he faked the jump shot, got the guy up, then took one step and did the behind the back dunk.
Yeah.
There's never been an athlete like this before that can do what he does. It's
crazy because he looks like me playing on a 7-foot hoop. Like you're not supposed to make an NBA hoop look that low to the ground. Like on that reverse play, he jumped like this much. Like he didn't even have to. It looked phenomenal, but he basically, a guy can touch the rim without jumping. Like they said on the broadcast last night that he grew a bit more this summer. Like he got taller this summer, and he definitely put on some muscle, it looks like, this summer. And then there was the one play where he had that great block at the defensive end, runs down the floor, gets the ball, shimmy shake between the legs twice, behind the back, step back 3, draws the foul. It was the entire NBA world was like shook last night by seeing what Wemby did. Finished with 40 points, like 15 boards. Didn't just settle for threes. So he was outstanding last night.
He's only 21.
He's a freak.
Now, here's the thing. I know we're all giving him the MVP after one game, and I totally get the reaction. The biggest thing, and this comes down to futures as well, is staying healthy. And those dudes that are of extraordinary size often have issues staying healthy. But if he plays like 76, 75 games this year, I don't know how he's not the MVP. And this is another thing for futures betting. Often the voters will be looking for the new thing, the new guy. And basically, it's been the Joker Award the last number of years.
Yeah. SGA
had those monster numbers. Many people still thought Joker was the MVP last year. I know Bill Simmons made a really good case for him that, even with what SGA did, I feel that is Joker, and whatever. That's fine. But if Wembanyama is, like, let's just say it's coming down, it's a tight race between those three, I think the natural lean for people will go to a guy that hasn't won the award before. And, there's a lot of love for Josh Allen to win the MVP, partly because of, his body of work before that and the fact that he hadn't won it and then he got his. So, but yeah, I was thinking about you last night watching that going, I can't believe I didn't pull the trigger on that. And,
he looked special last night. He looked really good. Really good last night.
It'll come back on the board. It's going to be 3-1 by the end of the week.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would. Yeah. Yeah. Like we'll never see that 11 and 12 again. It does make me sad. We should have got on it. Like, and along the theory of guys who haven't won it before, like Luka hasn't won one yet. He dropped over 40 in his first game too, right? Those two guys have that thing going for them. Now LeBron's going to get back. It's probably going to hurt Luka's MVP case a little bit, whereas Wemby's playing with some really good guys too, like Castle's outstanding and stuff. But I think the edge in that conversation would still go to Wemby over Luka on that part of it.
Is San Antonio going to be a playoff team this year?
It's a good question. The West is tough. What did we say? We went over the futures. 7 of the top 10 to win the title are in the West, and the Spurs are one of them. But, you got the play-in. Are they going to be a top 10 team? Are they going to be playing a play? I'll say that if Wemby stays healthy, yes, the San Antonio Spurs will be playing some sort of playoff game.
Yeah, because that's the one thing. I mean, if he's just a great team and he's eating up all the minutes and getting all the points for a team that sucks and wins 20 games, then hard to vote for MVP. But I don't know. It's an interesting start to the NBA season. I heard you mention Cooper Flagg as well. Yeah, people were sort of waiting for him to be this explosion in night one. I think, he, as a rookie, maybe deferred to a few.
In the first half, for sure, only 2 shots in the first half. I think he deferred to AD and a few of the veterans on that team. Got to go in a little bit offensively in the second half, but not enough to cover the 17 that we needed. Huss, do we want to go Thursday Night Football to start, or do we want to go pretty big slate in the National? Actually, let's start here before we get to either of those. Blue Jays World Series begins tomorrow, Game 1. I was saying on the Nielson show this morning, and it kind of leads into this conversation as well, like the more time we have between now and opening pitch, the more slowly confident I'm getting that maybe the Jays could pull off an upset. Like, I feel so much better about them now than I did 2 days ago against the Dodgers. I've looked at some analytics. Nobody's gone back-to-back in the World Series since, like, in the whole century, since the year 2000. The Dodgers are a unique breed. I could certainly see them doing that. But I don't know. I'm ready to get to first pitch because I feel like the time to get to first pitch, I'm going to be like Jays in 7, which I'm not there yet, but I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident about it as I consume content, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, they're a big underdog and they're going up against a team that looks unstoppable, but let's not forget that they won more games than the Dodgers did in the regular season. And, while the Dodgers sort of made it through that Milwaukee series on the backs of just absolutely lights out, brilliant starting pitching. Obviously they scored some runs too. The Jays, if they can, listen, the starters are going to have really strong outings. The bullpen is going to need to step up. But when you look at Toronto's lineup and the way that they beat the Yankees, and especially the way they beat the Mariners, it was contributions and guys stepping up from 1 through 9. I still maintain that the difference in the Seattle series was the 7 to 9 hitters. I mean, the pitching was good. There was some mistakes from managing both sides, whatever. The big guys, Vlad was a monster, but so was Raleigh, so was Rodriguez. You can really go down to Ernie Clement, IKF, and then the 2 homers by Jimenez in games 3 and game 4. To me, maybe the 2 most important hits of the entire series outside of the Springer home run in game 7. So yeah, listen.
I think the Jays bats have actually been better than the Dodgers offense so far in the playoffs. Right? The Dodgers have an advantage in pitching, but the Jays bats, when they've been going, they've done more than the Dodgers have done. I think, but they're going to have to do it against this all-time elite pitching staff, which is going to be difficult. So,
hey, it felt like a team of destiny. Whenever you eventually got on the bandwagon, whether that was in August, whether that was in the last week of September, whether that was in the Yankees series, if you really look from where this team started to where they are right now, it just feels like they're on one of those special runs. And may I remind everybody, here's a stat for you that this will get you more excited for Friday night, Dusty. 4 times in World Series history, a team has advanced to the World Series after winning a 7-game marathon in the championship series to play a team that swept in the championship series.
Okay.
The team that went 7 is 4-0. So, the Dodgers will be rested, but they're not going to have played any consequential baseball for well over a week. And, the Jays, while it was 3 days off, they're going to get their rest. I think they're still sort of feeling it from that last series. So I do listen, I can't say I like their chances, but at the odds that we're getting, I will certainly be riding with them.
Yeah, if you want to sprinkle the Jays, we got it boosted yesterday for Jays Play of the Day. You can get them straight up at plus 200 right now for the Jays to win the World Series. So you can find that on our EST specials page over at Play Alberta. Let's see here. Supersized Indiana Jones says Toronto 115 hits and 71 runs. Dodgers 18 hits and 46 runs, and they only played 1 less game. So yeah, the bats for the Jays have been better so far in the postseason. Maybe that's the reason they got a fighting chance against the Dodgers. Have you been following along on Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups and what's going on there today?
Oh my God. Yes, I have. This is wild, by the way. So the government goes after these guys. Like, It was Kash Patel, close friend of Evander Kane, by the way. Kash Patel, Trump's buddy that is running the FBI, his press conference today that announced all these charges. It was carried live on every single national news network. ESPN didn't cover it. It didn't play it. Really? I guess, when you spend that much money on the NBA, that's not something that you really want to highlight, but I was kind of stunned at that. It's an absolutely wild story. And I think we probably maybe shouldn't be surprised. This goes back to the Jonte Porter situation. And you knew that, like, with books putting the sort of stuff that they have out there, free throw props and
but the Chauncey Billups stuff is illegal poker through the mafia. That's crazy. Yeah.
He's not involved in any point shaving or anything like that with the NBA. No. He's part of a massive illegal poker ring crackdown connected with the mob that had, I didn't get the details of it, but there's like special cards, cameras in the chip holders, and essentially a long extended scam where they build people out of millions of dollars. And like, these guys make so much money. It's inconceivable how you could think that that's a good idea. You know what? I'm making 10 mil to be the coach. I made 100 mil during my career. You know what? Let's see if we can squeeze another 40K out of these guys at a poker game that's rigged. Long investigation. The ripple effects of this one are going to be significant, I would say. I did hear that Adam Silver went to their partners and requested, before this happened, and he obviously knew that some of this was coming, I'm sure, that certain markets were no longer available. And again, I'm not sure what books he's talking about. There's obviously offshore stuff. The thing that I can't get my head around, and there's a few guys that are very experienced gamblers and betting, personalities that said, the thing that's so weird about this is that, like, for someone to come in and drop huge 5-figure bets kind of out of the blue on like a Terry Rozier under or Jonte Porter free throws, like those sort of things. It should, and in almost all cases does, set off the alarm bells right away. Not to mention, like, I don't know any books. Certainly I don't play with those sort of numbers, but that would actually take those bets. So there's so many questions that I have about this. But Rozier, who was apparently cleared by the NBA a couple years ago in this, not so fast. I think Malik Beasley is the next guy that's going to be coming up. His name had been rumored in and around it. He wasn't so far in this indictment, but I do think that there's something coming for him from what I'm reading right now. But the Chauncey Billups part of it is just absolutely wild because it is unrelated to sports gambling. But he's the head coach of an NBA team right now, a former NBA champion, and I believe finals MVP. This is one of the more decorated guys in the game in the last 20, 25 years.
I was just reading an article while you were chatting there. It basically said he was not doing this while he was coaching, obviously, but it was after he retired, and they would use him to get people to, hey, come play poker with Chauncey Billups, a former NBA star. Yeah. I want to go play poker with Chauncey Billups. Then they sit down and the entire game was rigged. Like the deck shuffler was rigged. Everything was rigged. And they just took these guys for like hundreds of thousands of dollars because they wanted to play with Chauncey Billups. So yeah, it's quite the scene, man. It's quite the story. We'll see how much larger it gets, how much of it gets buried by certain people. And look, It's going to happen all the time. It's like we're going to see different controversies, different scandals, different investigations, pretty much a few times a year moving forward. I would think now in the world of sports betting and sports gambling.
There's an account that's no longer around, and I'll direct people if you're interested in this story. Guess who is all over it? Our guy Pablo Torre.
I was going to say Torres must be all over. That would have been my guess.
Oh, listen, and he's got some really neat stuff. And this goes back because he did a piece in July. How did a mysterious NBA Twitter user know about Malik Beasley's involvement in a betting scandal before the NBA? Turns out he's the cousin of alleged co-conspirator in the Jonte Porter case with a private meme coin chat. So the guy's account was freemoose_NBA. And he tweeted this out before anything happened with the NBA. First was Jonte, then was Rozier. Next, you'll hear about M******, B****** with the right letters of Malik Beasley. So this guy was untraceable. Well, guess what? Pablo found him. And his guys, they called him. They played this call today on the show. And I guess they've got a big episode tomorrow that is coming out. Or no, this was from last week. So he's all over it too. Maybe this, big winner in this, Bill Belichick. So he can get off the Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson case for a little bit and focus in on this NBA betting ring. But not good for the industry, I will say. Certainly not good for the NBA. I think you knew that there was going to be something like this happen at some point with the massive move to regulated and legalized sports gambling in North America, much like it has been throughout soccer and many other sports, tennis at the top of the list. But it still hits pretty hard when you wake up in the morning and you realize the night after the NBA just gets going, you've got one of the biggest scandals in the history of the league on the front pages everywhere, except, of course, for NBA.
All right. It is Nielson and Hustler. It is The Lock Shop, Canada's betting show, brought to you by Play Alberta. Let's get to this Thursday nighter, Huss. Still sitting here looking at it right now at 3.5, which is obviously a very important number. That 3.5 range. The Chargers are 3.5-point home favorites. Got some player props that I like. I said coming into the show, I spent a little bit of time on this morning on this game and reading a few different things, looking at some numbers, seeing where these teams are at right now. And I'm a little torn on this. I think you're going to be on the Vikings, especially at the plus 3.5 number.
I usually am. So what are you seeing? Because I've seen a lot of threes. But
I think it opened at 2.5. I saw it at threes. I'm looking at 3.5 right now. Chargers minus 3.5, minus 103. Vikings plus 3.5, minus 114.
Ooh, that's okay. Well, listen, that's certainly a number that's begging you to bet the Vikings.
See, this is what I have written down right here, because I said it feels like they're like, come on, plus 3.5, decent number. Take the Vikings. And part of me is like, I'm not getting tricked into this. I can tell you want me to take the Vikings. I don't mind the case for the Chargers. That's where I'm sort of leaning, but I figured you'd have some sort of convincing case here for the Vikings, because you usually are on the Vikings for the last couple of years.
Listen, I'm very, very torn on this game. I want the Vikings to win for my Chiefs allegiances. Yeah. Obviously, I'm kind of pulled for the Vikes in the NFC and I have a lot of friends on that. But, let's go back to where they are coming out of that Philly game. Really good team. The defense played pretty well, except they got torched 3 times for long passes.
Deep, yes.
That concerns me against Justin Herbert. Carson Wentz stunk. And that, listen, we're talking about Carson Wentz going up against Justin Herbert. We just want to break it down to the old coaches and quarterbacks. I'll give KOC, I think, a slight nod over Harbaugh. But Harbaugh is right up there as well. I don't think there's a heavy advantage on either side. And I think there is a significant advantage on the quarterback side on Justin Herbert. Now, the problem for Herbert is that he's been on his ass in half a second basically for most of this season.
Yeah, offensive line is injured and sucks.
They lost Slater, their starting left tackle before the season started. And then Joe Alt, who's their next most important. And to be honest, one of their most important players on the interior, he's been gone. Now, I'm going to pull up right now.
Just quickly on that line, I'll point out one thing on the offensive line. The Minnesota Vikings blitz 40% of the time. Like, they're a heavy blitz defense. I wonder if they do that and just continue to crush us, or do they need to blitz to have success against the Chargers offensive line right now, right? So, because I was looking at some player props, like the guys, look at Gadsden last week. He had that great week at tight end, but McConkey is a guy that you can find over the middle. Keenan Allen is a guy that on blitz you'll be able to find in the slot. So I like a lot of those, but then you point out that the Vikings got torched deep last week as well. And I would assume the Chargers are going to be throwing the ball a ton tonight. So I don't know. Where were you going to go? Where were you going to? You were heading somewhere. I interrupted you.
Brian Flores may have been going into that game thinking that Philly has shown absolutely nothing when it comes to throwing the football more than 5 or 10 yards this year, and just focus on that, and just basically got burned. And maybe they were a little too aggressive. Here's the thing. Joe Alt might be back tonight. He's listed. He was a limited participant in practice, and he's listed as questionable right now. I don't know if we've got any more updates. Let's just throw this in and see if we're getting any. Both on the practice field today. Chargers questionable. He hasn't played the month. Alt says he plans to make his return.
Okay.
And this is the way he looked in 1 to 3, in weeks 1 to 3 when he was in. 3 pressures allowed on 134 pass blocking reps, which was 5th fewest in the league. A 98.4 pass blocking efficiency, 7th best, and a 95% pass block win rate, 6th best in the league. Since he got injured, and keep in mind, he had to move to left tackle to take over for Slater. Since he got injured, the left tackle spot behind him's allowed 22 pressures, 4 sacks, 9 hits on 174 snaps. The bottom line is, if he comes back, it is absolutely massive. Like, I don't think a player could return to the Chargers lineup and have more of an impact than Joe Alt right now. So I actually do kind of feel this is a spot for the Chargers to win. But then I think about Minnesota and how well they played for a good portion of the game, how they moved the football. If they make one of those field goals into a touchdown because they did nothing in the red zone, or frankly, just don't throw the pick 6 against Philly, they probably win that game. But that is such a fishy line, the fact that it's 3.5.
I know.
I don't know whether they have just been getting hammered on the Chargers side of things for whatever reason, with Alt coming back, or assumingly coming back. But it's a very, very difficult one. I don't have a lot of confidence in Carson Wentz because of the mistakes that he makes, but sometimes he goes and he's got a big arm. I mean, he does look okay at times.
Let me give you this on Carson Wentz. I don't know. It shouldn't change your mind for this, but it's interesting. Carson Wentz on Thursday nights in his career, Huss, 7-0. Mr. Thursday night. He's never lost on a Thursday night. He's 7-0 on Thursday nights with 1,542 passing yards, 15 touchdowns thrown, and just 2 interceptions. Carson Wentz has never been better on Sundays or Mondays than he has been on Thursday nights. Now you could say, well, he's going to have an off Thursday night at some point. And maybe that's tonight, but just food for thought.
When were these Thursdays?
Oh, a while ago now.
Like,
this would have been.
So he's bounced around. I mean, I don't think he would have ever been able to play 7 Thursday night games during his time with the Eagles.
Let me see. I wonder if I can find Carson Wentz Thursday night games record. Let's see. Let's see if somebody actually can. Here we are. Carson Wentz games on Thursday. Here we go. This is great. StatMuse has it. All right. So here we are. It was with Washington in 2022 against the Bears. It was with Indy in 2021 against the Jets. And then 5 times with the Philadelphia Eagles. 3 of those were against the New York Giants. So Once with Washington, once with Indy, 5 times with the Eagles from 16 to 2020.
Yeah, I'll be honest, that doesn't really move the needle for me, considering the last one was in 2022. He's in with a new team. I am a little bit bent over what they did last week. The thing with the Chargers is, man, they are an unreliable team. They could find ways to lose. Herbert is playing his ass off. But as I said, he threw a couple bad picks last week. And I think a lot of the passing numbers we saw, I think I described them on Monday as empty calories. It was great for fantasy. And it all counts if you're starting in your lineup. But they were never in that game. And, man, did Indy run the football all over the Charger defense right now. So I am acknowledging that this is the fishiest, like the fact that this is now 3.5 is actually almost making me want to bet the Chargers.
Yeah, I think I'm taking the Chargers to spite the books. I'd say you're not getting me this time. You know, like I'm not going to get sucked in.
What is 3 available? Like what, if you bet Chargers -3, what are you looking at?
Well, let's see here. The 3 would be -122. 2.5 is -135.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if you're putting it in, if you want to parlay this with something, I would almost go to the 2.5.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to parlay it with something, and maybe that's what we do, because we've probably got some player props that we'll like. If you're going to parlay it with something and you just move it to -135 and get the extra point and take you underneath that 3 number, that's probably the way to go.
What do we think about, let's see, this is weird. Do you have any rushing props for the Vikings?
Let me see. Did you say rushing props?
Yeah.
I got 59.5 on Jordan Mason. You know, I will say I don't mind the 9.5 on Carson Wentz. I've seen it higher. I've seen that Carson Wentz number 11.5 in some places.
Yeah. The quarterback rushing numbers has been a very popular over bet this year.
I'm just going to take a look at his log here. So Carson Wentz, I would definitely be willing to throw this into the mix. So far, Carson Wentz has rushed for 12, 13, and 28 yards in his last 3 games. And the number's sitting at 9.5 tonight. I don't mind that one. We could do something with that. What else do you like for player props here, Huss?
Looking at these reception numbers right now, Jordan Addison has really popped the last little bit.
Yeah, I mean, since he's come back, man, he's been outstanding. Like I'm seeing 4.5 on his reception number. Pretty sure he's been over that in his last 3 games. I'll double check here.
Yeah, grab that game log out.
Yeah, here's the game log for Jordan Addison. I think he's been over that. Yeah, so his 3 games since coming back, targeted 8 times, caught 4 of them for 114 yards. Targeted 6 times, caught 5 for a touchdown as well, but just 41 yards, but had the touchdown. And then against Philly, caught 9 of 12 targets for 128 yards. So, I mean, I really like the over 4.5 for Addison.
Me too.
What's his yard prop at? Receiving yards, Addison, 51.5. What do you like more there? 51.5 or the 4.5? I can move it down to 3.5 too if we're going to build a little something here.
I'd almost say the difference between 3.5 and 4.5 is massive.
Yeah.
Like 3.5, it's like -227. 4.5, it's like around even money.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I mean, especially if we think the Chargers are live to win this game. I mean, I think that means Minnesota is going to be in a position where they're going to have to throw the football. They're not just going to be able to lean on the running game. Justin Jefferson is so good and attracts so much attention from the defensive coordinators that Addison, I think, really benefits from being that other guy. And he's playing at a Pro Bowl level right now. So count me in on that. What was Saquon did not do much. I guess the last week. I mean, I was gonna talk about the Charger running game.
Yeah.
But
Saquon
it evaporated last week against
Saquon's had 2 bad weeks in a row. Vidal had that huge game when he first took over, but I thought they were passing so much last week. That was a tough game script to really get a read on that. Ladd McConkey's been awesome recently. His yards are at 54.5. His receptions are, where's McConkey? 5.5 at plus 125. His last 3 games, caught 5 of 7 targets, 39 yards and a touchdown. Caught 7 of 9 targets for 100 yards and a touchdown. And in that game against the Colts, they were trailing, obviously, heavy throwing script, but we're talking about that again tonight. The ability to throw against the Vikings, or what we saw last week from the Eagles. He was targeted 15 times last week, caught 9 balls. So, if the Vikings continue to blitz as much as they've been blitzing, and you did mention the Chargers' offensive line should be improved, but I still don't hate a steady diet of McConkey over the middle tonight. But
yeah, last game, and again, it was a little. I think we have to take these numbers with a grain of salt because, they were down so much early that it just became a passing game.
How many attempts did Herbert have last week? Because he had over 400 yards,
55.
but
55?
Yeah, that's tough.
55. Listen to these targets. McConkey had 15 targets last week.
Yeah.
9 catches for 67 yards. Keenan Allen had 14 targets, caught 11 of them for 119 and a touchdown. And then Gadsden, as you mentioned, 7 for 164. To me, the Gadsden number is the massive outlier here. I think, and McConkey was a little quiet earlier on this season.
Earlier in this year, he was, yep.
I think he's been hitting overs, but those numbers are kind of going up right now. The one guy that just seems to be so guaranteed is Keenan Allen.
You got Allen's numbers last week in there?
Yeah. Keenan Allen was targeted 14 times, had 11 catches for 119 yards and a touchdown.
Jeez.
Monster numbers. Now listen, the Vikings have a good defense, and they were kind of exposed against the Philly. Now, again, I think they were just being aggressive and focusing so much on Saquon that they gave something up in the secondary, and it burned them in a big way. So I think it'll be a little bit more balanced this week. But I don't really think we all of a sudden see the Chargers running all over the Vikings. The Vidal number is basically 50 yards or 54.5. I think I stay away from that.
Yeah.
I'd rather take a Jordan Mason over. I think that the rushing game for the Vikings, I think, will be probably a little bit more. But the Wentz rushing prop, the Jordan Mason rushing prop, I think are both live. And then when we look at receptions, what is Keenan Allen? So I'm seeing minus 182 on over 4.5, and then plus money on over 5.5. Very reliable. And then Ladd McConkey the numbers are really similar. They're juiced a little bit, you're getting a little bit more on McConkey. But to be honest, I think I could get behind a Keenan Allen or a McConkey catch prop, whether we want the numbers or we want the yards. Who do you like better between those two?
Man, I like both of them. I like both of them, man.
I found McConkey to be a little more feast or famine.
So you like the Keenan Allen play a little bit better?
Keenan Allen, let's just quickly compare. Yeah, McConkey had that real quiet start. 41 against Denver, only 11 against the Giants, 39 against Washington, and then the 100-yard game against Miami, and 67 against Indy. Keenan Allen, for his spot, these are his catches: 7 for 65, 5 for 37, 5 for 58, 4 for 27, And again, that 4 for 27 was the Miami game. That was weird. I mean, they barely won it, but there was huge. It was Kamani Vidal had that breakout game and had all those points. And then against a good Indy defense, it was 11 for 19. I think that the Vikings defense is more along the lines of the Indy defense, to be honest, which tells me I think they're going to be passing a lot more. So the Keenan Allen, I think I'd lean maybe slightly there just because he does seem to be a bit consistent. And certainly he's played with Herbie long enough that he counts on him and knows, but both of those guys, I think are live. If the Chargers are going to win this football game, I think both of those guys probably have big nights.
So let's go Chargers -2.5, Keenan Allen and Jordan Addison over their receptions.
Sure.
You like Addison there?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. I'm going to send it off. You'll find it. Let's get to.
I almost like just making it props and just keeping the game score.
Keep the game out of it. Is there a third? Is there a third prop? You want to find a third prop?
What about the Wentz rushing?
Oh yeah, I do like that. I mentioned that right off the top. I kind of forgot about. Okay, let's do that.
9.5. Addison and Keenan Allen. That's something I think I can really get behind because I could say, I'm taking the Vikings, I'm taking the Chargers. I don't know. I guarantee you, if this was a game on Sunday, this is a game that I am not touching with our 5 picks for best bets. I mean, it's tough.
I told you coming in, I was torn. I had to lean towards the Chargers, but let's, okay, I'm going to send this, I'll send this over to the guys and we will get it up. It'll be up on our EST specials page. Busy night in the National Hockey League. Huss, let's give you the starting goalies here. Then we can dive into this. Spencer Knight will be light. He's been great, by the way. Spencer Knight's been outstanding for Chicago so far. They're going into Tampa. Vasilevsky's unconfirmed right now. Shesterkin versus Nedeljkovic as the Rangers host the horrible San Jose Sharks. Senators will go with Allmark. Vladar will start for the Flyers. Big Save Dave will go for the Islanders at home against the Red Wings. Second half of a back-to-back there for the Red Wings. Likely be Talbot tonight, I would think. Bobrovsky for the Florida Panthers is locked in. Tristan Jarry will get the start for the Penguins. Nice little Penguins-Panthers game there. The Bruins and the Ducks, it'll be Korpisalo versus Peter Mrazek. And then unconfirmed, we've got UC Saros, Thatcher Demko. Hellebuck will go for the Jets. They're taking on the Kraken. Joey Decord listed as unconfirmed at this point. Hofer for the Blues. Nobody confirmed yet for the Mammoth. Wedgwood for the Avalanche. Nobody confirmed yet for the Hurricanes. Ottinger will start for the Stars. Kings will be likely Kemper. And then Montreal and Edmonton, the last game on the sked. Calvin Pickard will start for the Edmonton Oilers at home. And it'll be Sam Montembeault after Jakob Dobish was outstanding last night against the Calgary Flames. So Montembeault and Pickard at Rogers Place tonight. So lots of options here, Huss. Not backed into just a 3-game slate tonight. First of all, what about Winnipeg? What's the feel on the Jets tonight?
Well, listen, the Jets have been rolling. I mean, they beat Calgary in that comeback on Monday night when everyone was all tied up watching the Jays game. They had a day off 2 days ago, practice yesterday. They're back at it tonight. Hellebuck has been absolutely brilliant right now. Seattle is at the tail end of this long road trip to start the season, and they've only won 1 in their last 5 games right now. Obviously, the Jets are starting 3-4 and the first of back-to-back nights. This is one that they'll have. I mean, I like Winnipeg tonight. I would consider jumping on the puck line in this one. If you're looking for one, I mean, Edmonton and Winnipeg I'm seeing them both as like -227.
Yeah, I'm seeing -227 on the Oil, -233 on the Jets right now.
Okay, just a little bit more on the Jets. So yeah, I mean, listen, I do like the Jets. I mean, I'll throw the Oilers to you. I mean, they got that win. They're back at home. Montreal's been an exciting team. They did play last night. I mean, I was really surprised when I first saw the odds, and then I'm like, okay, well, it kind of makes sense with them playing the night before. Feels like this is one the Oilers really sort of need to get. I mean, be a real dud to finally squeeze one out of that road trip, come back on home ice to play a team you probably should beat anyways that's on the second end of back-to-backs and not get the win.
I will say this. I wouldn't be comfortable throwing the Oilers into a parlay.
Yeah.
Like this is a weird spot because they're coming home for one, then they're gone for two again. So it's kind of like an 8-game road trip where one stop just happens to be in Edmonton briefly. Half the building will be Habs fans tonight, so I don't even know if there'd be much of an advantage there. And if Montreal skates like they did, like I watched a good chunk of that game last night, Montreal gets after it a bit. Now, Calgary played them pretty well last night. Couldn't bury anything. Dobish was actually pretty good. So I mean, I've already got some stuff on it from the morning show today, so probably wouldn't want to throw it into any sort of lock shop partner parlay. But I mean, you make a valid point. I mean, the thing is that both of their wins on the road trip, the one against the Rangers, they weren't good. Skinner stole it. And then this last game against Ottawa, they had a 2-0 lead going in the third period and blew it 2 minutes in and then had to win the game in overtime. So I think the big boys still aren't, like McDavid scored, but I think the big guys still aren't firing on all cylinders that you would like them to be so far. So I just don't want to ruin the parlay with the oil, but you make a valid case for how important this game would be for them to try to get one. Montreal's first place in the division right now at 6-2.
Even if we take out, like, let's not look at either the Jets or Oilers.
There's still a ton of games.
You want a game to start off with? I'm going with Dallas at home -1. I'm seeing -145 over the Kings. Kings just won in overtime against the Blues a couple nights ago. The Stars had their biggest dump of the year. They lost 5-1 at home to the Columbus Blue Jackets.
That was awful.
They lost 3 in a row. I expect the Dallas Stars to be a much, much better team tonight. It's certainly a much bigger test than Columbus, with all due respect to them. But again, we've seen LA. We've seen them a few times. I mean, they're a good team. This could be a tight game. It could go to OT, but Dallas at home normally in a game like this, I think you'd be looking at around like a -175, a -180 favorite. So I think the number's good on Dallas as well. I do expect them to win. I kind of like Detroit tonight, and I know they lost last night to Buffalo, and they're playing on the second end of back-to-backs. But I just feel like, think of what Todd McClellan did after that first loss of the season, calling the entire team out and what he got out of them. Going back-to-back losses for Detroit after their start in Buffalo and in the Islanders, I think would really take a lot of the air out of their sails. So I think that this team will be ready, looking to move past last night right away. And the Islanders are just they are not very good. Matthew Schaefer is worth the price of admission to watch himself. But and like they're on a 3-game winning streak. Okay, they beat the Oilers. They had that win in Ottawa against the Sens without Brady Tkachuk. And they just squeaked one out 4-3 against the San Jose Sharks. So I like Detroit at a plus number. And then, the game of the night, and this is a very tough pick, but this Colorado-Carolina game is going to be one that certainly will be worth tuning in for. Who did you say the goalies were again in that one?
Anderson wasn't confirmed. Blackwood was for Colorado.
Oh, okay. So Mackenzie Blackwood's back in net.
I think. Let me double check that, buddy. Hang on a sec. I had moved off that page. I was looking at this Ducks Bruins game. Let me see here. Let's just double check. I know they had Anderson listed as unconfirmed. Oh no, it's Wedgwood. It's Wedgwood. Wedgwood is confirmed. Yep.
Yeah, because so far this year, I should click over to goaltending. Wedgwood's played every game, and he is 5-0-2. I mean, the Canes just lost their first game of the season. They're like, if you like analytics, I mean, they're at the top right corner, like far away from everybody. Now, they were playing some lesser teams right off the bat, so I think that's sort of been skewed. Like, do you have a lead on this game?
I mean, I would probably slightly lean towards Carolina. But it is the game of the night. I mean, 100% agree with you there. But I could see Carolina. What do we say that? What is it? Pretty much a pick 'em? What's the?
No, it's I was seeing, I think, minus 133 for the Avs.
Oh, yeah. And plus 113 for Carolina. Yeah. I don't hate that one. Like if we went Dallas, Detroit, and Carolina, that's, what is it? That's like plus 675.
Yeah. The Canes have been on the road forever. But yeah, I mean, they beat the Devils, Flyers, Sharks, Ducks, Kings.
Is this the sixth game of a 6-game road trip?
Fifth game. Of I think a 5-gamer. They beat the Golden Knights, they lost to the Golden Knights. And that was on Monday. So they've had 2 days to get ready for this one. Let's have a little fun. Let's go with a couple dogs here. And we throw Dallas in along with the Wings and the
it's a good number. Yeah, no, it's a good number for sure. All right, what's coming up on WST Huss? I'm going to send that over to the guys here.
I'm not looking forward to the show today, Dusty.
Oh.
Because I'm going to have to address something that I did not want to have to right off the start of the show.
Is this poker related?
Hammer won again.
Shut up. What is going on around here? What is this?
Listen, and the way, I mean, no one wants to hear poker stories of hands or bad beats or anything, but I mean, it's magic. It's I'm wondering he might be an associate of Chauncey Billups at this point. Like it was amazing. So yeah, we're gonna have, and then tomorrow he's gonna be coming on the show with a full touchdown dance. That's going to be tough. But once we get past the bad news right off the start of the show, JD Bunkus is going to be joining me from Toronto. We'll get hyped for the Game 1 of the World Series and get the feel around the GTA for the Jays. Ken Wiebe, who was at Game 6 and 7, is back. We'll probably talk mostly Jets, but I know he'll want to get into a little Blue Jays talk as well. And Rowicki with some more in the National Hockey League. And obviously, we'll talk a little bit more Vikings before this Thursday nighter tonight. So, as I said, I was dreading the second that tourney ended last night. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm going to have to address this right off the top of the show. But
I would totally just link him with Chauncey Billups and say it's a scandal.
He did it again.
No, that's what I would do. All right, Huss, have a good show today, buddy.
The problem is it isn't. Oh. The problem is it isn't. It's completely on the up and up, and he did it again.
See you later, man.
Yeah, take it easy.
There you go. That's Huss. Winnipeg Sports Talk starting in about 5 minutes over on the WST channel. Quickly, the EST specials. Jays play of the day is still up there. We boosted the Jays to win the World Series at plus 200. The early bird bet is sitting there from this morning as well. Bouchard Point Oilers to win at minus 105. And then I sent a few over. We've got Carson Wentz over 9.5 rush yards. Keenan Allen, I moved these numbers down, right? I'm using my game sense here. Carson Wentz over 9.5 rush yards. Keenan Allen over 3.5 receptions. Jordan Addison over 3.5 receptions. So me likey that one. And then your NHL partner parlay tonight. Stars money line, Wings money line, Hurricanes money line. I was thinking about popping on the Bruins. They've lost 5 in a row. And they got this Ducks team that started pretty well, but Boston's got to get out of this funk right now. So I don't, and that one's basically a pick 'em. So that could be a game that you might want to go take a little bit of an extra look at as well. We've got 2 guys and a goalie coming up with myself, Matt Cassian, Joaquin Gage. It's brought to you by GS Construction. All of Edmonton Sports Talk presented to you by Play Alberta. Download the Play Alberta app today. That is where you can find our EST specials. Use the codes EST50, EST Sports, both of them here in the month of October. Deposit $50, get a $50 free bet. 2 guys and goalies on the way. Thank you very much for joining us on the Lock Shop. If you're watching on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up before you leave. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or our audio player at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, 2 guys and a goalie starting up in less than 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Best of luck tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow.